everyone, welcome back to How to Get a Job in Consulting, your go-to place for learning how to be authentic and successful in the consulting recruiting journey. On the bottom right corner of your video, there is a little watermark that says subscribe here. You can click that and you'll be notified whenever we have new videos. And that's great because you get to know all the great tips on how to be authentic and successful in your consulting recruiting journey. Today we're going to talk about how to survive and stand out in the networking season. And don't worry, introverts, I have things for you too in here. Stay tuned. Hey everyone, welcome back, and it's about time to start networking. Corporate presentations are around the corner. If you're a returning student recruiting, you're probably going through them right this second. So now's the time to start thinking about how to make a lasting impression so that you'll be top of mind when people are starting to make their interview list. I have some critical pieces of information in here, so make sure you watch to the very end to get every single bit of value. Rule number one of consulting recruiting, especially during networking season, is don't be weird. It should go without saying, but trust me, there are people who make these mistakes all the time, and I want you all to be successful in this journey. Really, what you should start thinking about is how would you like to be treated if you were on the other side? Chances are you don't want to be followed into the bathroom while you're trying to handle your business, right? So don't do it. It's important to remember that these consultants and partners are humans, and you just don't want to make a bad impression by being, weird. Another thing that's really good to do is to kind of take the transaction out of the experience. I get it. This is a really transactional setup, right? Firms are looking for people to hire. Candidates want to get a job. Let's just cut to the chase, shall we? But I highly recommend that you start thinking of it as a relational process, not a transactional process. That's really going to make you stand out because you're going to talk about things you care about, things that are very important to you, and start building a relationship that can last beyond the recruiting season. Another great thing to do is do your homework beforehand. Oftentimes you might get emails about who is going to be at the networking event, and if you do, great. Take advantage of that. Start looking at their LinkedIn. Start looking at the kinds of thought leadership that some of them might have actually written on the website. You want to make sure you have all your basic questions answered, like where's an office? What industries do you work in? Those are all things that are prominently on the website, so you want to make sure you're not wasting the consultant's time and wasting your chance to actually get value out of the conversation and make a good impression. And this leads me to the next one. In order to have authentic conversations, you need to have some talking points. At the end of the day, as candidates, we are trying to sell ourselves, right? We're trying to stand out. We want to make sure that people know a little bit about us when we walk away. So in order to have that, you want to have a quick bite-sized elevator pitch that sounds natural and authentic to just start a conversation. So at Ross, we call it the Odyssey. Honestly, the Odyssey is a little bit longer than what you would say in a networking sense. We have like a 30-second version, which is like an elevator pitch that kind of talks about who you are, where you've been, why you're interested in consulting. That's it. It's just really key to make sure it doesn't seem rehearsed. And if you are from another country and English is your second language, I know that it's really important to rehearse and practice. I've coached people who speak English as a second language, and I know it's a challenge. You can do this. Start listening to how I speak and start thinking about how you can string words together so that it has a certain kind of rhythm. Again, you want to make sure that you're authentic to yourself. I don't want you to show up and have a completely different accent or anything like that. It's not that serious. You just want to make sure that you're not sounding rehearsed. That's it. Be mindful of the people around you and your classmates. I get it. All of you want a job, all of you want to work at firm X, but it's not the time to trample over people. You know what? It's actually really interesting because the consulting recruiting process is pretty elegantly designed. Now that I've survived it and have been successful in it, I've realized that a lot of the skills that you're doing during this ramp up season are actually skills that you need to have when you are a consultant. You have to be a great team player. You need to be considerate of others. You have to be able to carry yourself in a great manner when you are in high pressure situations. Those things all apply while you are at a networking event. So no sharp elbows. If you're in a circle and you notice someone's trying to get in, let them in. It's just common decency. It's really important to know when to cede the moment. You know, there's a lot of people who want to talk to these consultants, so it's just not a good look if you're monopolizing someone's time. My go-to phrase whenever I was talking to people, you know, after I asked about a question and we kind of went back and forth a couple times, is say, you know what? I don't want to monopolize your time here. I'd love to follow up. What's the best way to do so? And then boom, you get the contact information and you're ready for, you know, to move on to another person. It's just really important to be considerate, because if you're not considerate, it's gonna show too. Don't just stick with the people who look like you. Trust me, I'm a woman and I'm a minority, and as much as all the firms talk about diversity and inclusion, there's just not a critical mass of people who look like me in the consulting landscape, in business in general. So I put myself at a disadvantage if I only stick with Black women who are in the room. Also, as a woman, I mean, I know like we love to run in packs, right? It's great for social, and yes, do what makes you feel comfortable on the onset, but make sure that you give yourself a goal to branch out and meet someone who's different from you, because it's really important that you get a lot of different perspectives of who is at the firm and that people know you. It's really important to just connect authentically with people. If you try to talk to someone who's completely new and it's just not an engaging conversation, don't drag it on. Don't say, good job, Ashley, you tried. You move on to someone else. That is okay. And as I promised, introverts, I have some advice for you. This is a critical piece of the recruiting journey, and I understand that for some people, it's not a very enjoyable one. I consider myself a fairly extroverted person, and I found networking sessions and corporate presentations exhausting. So this tip goes for everyone, not just introverts. You have to keep in mind that this is a huge energy management process. There's a lot of pressure, there's a lot of people, there's a lot of things going on, and it's really important for you to just take a step back before you even join and get a sense of what your goals are for the evening. For me, I don't like inauthentic schmoozing, you know, like I just hate being fake. That's just me. So for me, it was really important that I felt like I was having authentic conversations, and it really helped me when I was actually engaging with the consultant so that we could actually make a connection. You know what? It doesn't happen automatically with every person. So it's really important to just keep that in mind. What really helped me is before I even went to the networking session, I gave myself a goal to meet 3 to 5 people. That's it. I would meet 3 to 5 people, I would get their business cards, and then I would give myself permission to just stop, check in with how I'm feeling, and if I was feeling anxious or overwhelmed, I left. And if I felt like I could keep going, then I stayed. It was a life changer, I have to tell you, because before that I was just so overwhelmed, feeling like I needed to see everyone and meet every person. Newsflash, you don't. And it made the recruiting journey a lot more sustainable for me, which, trust me, it's a long game, people. You want to make sure that you have a sustainable process. All right, so I want to share another pro tip with you. Eat before. You need to know who you are, and I am not my best self if I'm hungry. And chances are, if you're going to a networking event, there's going to be, you know, cheese, crackers, some carrots. You know, if you're a vegetarian, there might be stuff that you can't eat. Honestly, you can just bank on there not being enough food. And especially if you have any allergies or special preferences, you just don't want to depend on the catering services to have something that suits your needs. Plus, I mean, life is so much better when you're not hungry, especially when you need to meet new people. So I broke. The passion comes because this is a very, very, very important topic. So just know how you function best and make sure that you do everything you need to do so that you are at your optimal state. And the last pro tip of networking season, have a prompt follow-up. I cannot tell you how important this is. Every single consultant at every single firm has to keep track of their interactions, and they want to note who stands out in good ways and in bad ways. And after you follow all my rules, you'll know that you will be the one who's standing out in a good way. But these people are meeting so many people in one night. It's really hard to keep track. So that's why it's critical to have a prompt follow-up. When I was in corporate presentations and networking sessions, I would make quick trips to the bathroom and jot down notes on my phone of key conversations I had with people so that I could remember what we talked about. And I even started writing my thank you letters in the evening. Now, I get it, sometimes you don't want to send an email late at night, that's fine, but you do want to send one by 8 a.m. Just seriously, 8 a.m., your thank you note should be sent and in the inbox because it's just an easy thing to make a lasting impression, and it's a great opportunity for you to follow up and schedule time to have an extended conversation. I will say, only ask for time for people that you are genuinely interested in learning more about. Don't just ask everyone for 30 minutes of their time. That's all we have for today. If you found value in this video, give me a thumbs up. Tell me in the comments below, which tips are you going to keep top of mind? Is it eating before networking? Is it setting a goal of number of people that you're going to meet at the event? Let me know. I'd love to hear which tips are most helpful for you.